of the zebra family, but okapi are actually the closest living relative to a giraffe.
We're in a safari right
They have
now.
the same facial characteristics as a giraffe and a prehensile tongue. On the left, that's a greater kudu up there on the top. See it sitting right up in the back of the hill there? They're actually one of the larger species of antelope here on the reserve. There's a bongo too on the right here, the darker one there with a little bit bigger ears. Bongo are the ghosts of the forest, very shy animals.
Oh my!
They're going to keep to themselves quite a bit of the time. They'll hang out a lot in the hills. Their horns face backwards on their head, which actually help to keep them from getting stuck in any sort of bushes or vines. There's a black rhino up here on the left.
You guys can see that rhino.
Look at that rhino way up there, huh?
Running.
Oh my god, look at them. They're fighting. Those are like vultures.
You guys want to see what kind of animal?
Black rhinos are the smaller of the two species we might find here on the reserve. They're going to weigh about 3,000 pounds each. The larger of the two is going to be the white rhino we might see a little bit later, weighing about 5,000 pounds each. Top speeds for rhinos about 35 miles an hour.
Oh my!
And the black rhinos are actually non-social, so you'll see they were both living by themselves. They're going to live separated like that. They do like to go up and say hi to each other every once in a while, but they don't like to live close together. Whereas the white rhinos we might see later, they live very close together in what are called crashes. On the left, there's also a saddle-billed stork over there in the back of the trees back there. You can kind of see it sticking through there. That bird's going to stand about 5 feet tall. Has a wingspan coming in around 9 feet wide. Now we're going to continue up to the Safi River. Do we have any first-time safari riders back there today?
Yeah.
Excellent, me too. I'm just kidding, this is my second time. On the right there is a Nile hippopotamus.
Where?
All in the back right corner.
See the bubbles?
Oh, he's underwater. You can't see him.
A very big animal. It's about 5,500 pounds each is what they'll weigh.
I saw him. Look
They do spend most of their time in the water sleeping.
See, he's looking, picked his head up.
A group of hippos is called a bloat. So if you look here on the left, something pretty cool. You see that black bird standing there? It's actually standing right on top of a hippo.
I'm not getting it.
Hippos can hold their breath underwater for 8 minutes at a time. As you see that hippo there coming up for a breath of air, and then we'll go right back underwater. Quite a few. There's one up here by the second island too. We're walking along there.
Oh, wow, look at the hippo.
There's the pink-backed pelicans in the
hippo
middle,
swimming.
second smallest species of pelican in the world. Now, one misconception with hippos that we can see here on the left, it looks like this hippo's swimming underwater, but hippos actually can't swim at all. What happens is they're actually walking or floating along the bottom. They're going to put their feet down and then kind of jump and push off and then just float along or walk right along the base of the river. Now we found a very, very brave person up here on the left. It looks like this bridge is held together very well by duct tape almost. It looks like we're going to see here in a second, because the reason that he's pretty brave is because I think in the water here he's looking at something down there under the water. Comes another brave person here on the left. Oh wow, did you guys see that? Look at this. These are the Nile crocodiles. Looks like they're moving somewhere. They're all moving all over the place right now. Very big animals, 16 to 20 feet long.
The Nile River.
They're gonna weigh around 500 pounds each. Crocodiles can hold their breath underwater for 2 hours at a time. They also have one of the strongest bites of any animal on the reserve, coming in 2,000 pounds per square inch for those crocodile bites.
This be a YouTube channel, Jaden?
Very powerful. To put it into perspective, that's even a stronger bite than that of a great white shark.
On air.
Now we're heading up towards the grasslands. Some of the more iconic animals on the reserve can be found here by the Serengeti grasslands. Before we get there though, we'll check out here on the right what's called a baobab tree.
Oh yeah.
These trees are known as the upside down tree because when you look at them, you'll notice it looks like they're planted upside down and their roots are growing straight up. They're going to be leafless like that for about 9 months of the year.
There's the giraffes.
Oh yeah, I see him.
Now here we go down into the Serengeti grasslands. Looks like we found some Ankole cattle here first on the right.
That's
You can see those large horns already sticking out of the grasslands over here. Now these are a symbol of wealth in Africa to show how much wealth or statute your family has. They're the only domesticated animals on the reserve here, domesticated by the Watusi tribe. Right there on the right. Those horns are going to grow to be 4 to 6 feet long and are the primary cooling unit for those cattle. The blood from their body gets pumped up into those horns all the way to the tips and then drip back down through the middle. There's a honeycomb structure on the inside. That'll cool the blood off, layer by layer as it drips to the base, and once it gets to the base it'll get pumped out right back into their bodies, keeping them nice and cool.
That's crazy, huh?
And let's see, we'll keep moving here. I definitely saw a giraffe or two way in the back there on the right. We'll get over there in a couple minutes to see them.
Is this actually like their natural habitat?
Looks like some sort of predator den coming up here on the left. These are the African wild dogs, or the African painted dogs. You can see they have those bright colors on their fur, which look like they've been painted onto their bodies. They're the most successful hunters on the savannah, around a 90% success rate on all their hunts. They'll actually chase their prey to the point of exhaustion, running behind them until their prey simply can't run anymore. On the far left are the sable antelope, the dark brown antelope with the big horns there on their head. These antelope are very territorial. They don't like to hang out a lot with other animals. They'll keep to themselves, so use those long, sharp horns to protect themselves as well. We're passing through here, and on the left and right, couple termite mounds here. We see some of these taller ones too. Termite mounds are made of 3 key ingredients, which are dirt, dung, and saliva.
No way, they're so big.
Great places for animals to come and get a nice back scratch on the reserve with their horns or their tusks. Looks like we're going to get one more view of those Ankole cattle here on the right. And some zebras here on the right. Looks like coming out here in the corner. There is a zebra. This is a Hartman Mountain zebra. You can tell by looking at their neck there, it looks like they have a little Adam's apple, but it's actually an extra flap of fur called a dewlap, and they'll use to help cool their bodies off. Zebras are a social species of animals, so they do live together very well with the other
Oh,
animals
there's
here.
two.
A group of zebras is
Besides the
called a
hyenas.
dazzle.
Because the hyenas will kill all these.
Look, because the height.
Now it looks like as we come around the corner here, we're getting closer to these giraffes. We also see a springbok here in the middle, walking through the middle there. One of the 10 fastest land animals on the planet is the springbok. Top speeds around 50 miles
Guys,
an hour.
right now, we're pulling up on the
But
giraffes.
here is the source of our slowdown there, that little bit of a traffic jam we had. As you can see, that giraffe is walking right at that truck. These are the Maasai giraffes. We can tell by looking at their spots
Can we pet
that they
them?
have the jagged edges on their spots.
Why?
Kiss you.
Not the smooth spots like their cousins, the reticulated giraffes.
See if we can get it close up.
Giraffes are going to stand in about 20 feet tall, which is why a group of giraffes is known as a tower. A couple of the younger giraffes right up here on the hill. In the last 12 months, we've actually had about 5 giraffes born here on the reserve.
So what? You took a picture? And you're recording the whole time?
Yeah.
You're gonna use up a lot of memory if you record this whole
It's
time.
called YouTube.
Now, on average, a giraffe is actually only going
Oh,
to
I'm gonna
sleep
end it
about
now.
30 minutes a day.
Eat up a lot.